Hello and a warm welcome to Goal and Gossip. This is the Dishmeister here, and we have our usuals, Saul, iTunes Mag, and the Kloppite here joining us. We're going to be doing our weekly episodic show of the transfer gossip, and we're going to be talking Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle United, and yours truly's club, the Arsenal. So we're going to start off with Manchester United today, and we have quite a few topics to go over. We have been hearing for the past week that Mason Mount is their top target, at least for the early part of the transfer window, but it seems like it's all falling. So we're going to start off with Mason Mount and Manchester United. Saul, what are your thoughts? Talk to me.
Yeah, I think this is a clear case of a club that doesn't have a lot of money to spend this transfer window, trying to lowball the seller. So we started off with, I think, somewhere around a 40 plus 5 first bid, which got rejected, obviously. Then we went to something around 47 plus 5, and then 50 plus 5, which was the final bid, which broke, like, I think, yesterday that it got rejected as well. But I think Chelsea came with a counter offer. I think it was somewhere around 60 plus 7 or 55 plus 7, something like that. So we have a counter offer on the table, but I think Manchester United. So my personal feeling is that they want Mason Mount, but they have the privilege to still lowball and pressurize Chelsea and Mason Mount. Because Mason Mount really wants to leave Chelsea. That is, everyone knows that. There is this rumor that apparently Bayern Munich is also interested in Mason Mount. I don't know how much of that is true, but I do feel that Mason Mount would not necessarily go to Bayern Munich, and the connection is probably made because of Tuchel, who used to play with Mason Mount during his stay back in Chelsea. So I think that we will eventually get Mason Mount, but for the time being, United are just playing low ball. They're just like they want to wait and see if Chelsea agree to the final bid, and hopefully it'll happen because for whatever reason that is our main target, at least for now. I mean, I know we need a striker, but Ten Hag for some reason, pretty similar to the Kai Havertz deal, right? As a United fan, I never expected that we would be interested in Mason Mount at all. But that being like the first signing of the transfer window is also something which was pretty stunning for me. So we'll have to wait and see. There are rumors that you need a goalkeeper, this Caicedo, like in the horizon as well. But at the same time, I think the Mason Mount thing will eventually happen because we seem to be very invested in it. 3 bids have gone in, but for now, I think it's a waiting game. So we'll have to wait and see.
Right. Now I'm going to ask the Kloppite here. Do you think, I know you guys were early on linked with Mason Mount too, Liverpool was. Do you see Mason Mount fitting the current Eric Ten Hag team, and do you think that it's an improvement on Christian Eriksen, or if there's any other position that he could probably fill in?
So, I think we discussed this on previous podcasts as well, that Mason Mount can drift in from the left. He can be a box to box. He's a versatile player. Of course, definitely an upgrade on Ericsson. Like, not technically, maybe they're same, but obviously energy and stamina. He can do more of the running. He's younger. Uh, and I feel United are doing the right thing, just that they don't have much time on their hand because other clubs are just like steamrolling with the transfer windows, like Arsenal is. City just got a deal agreed for verbally, I think, for Gavardio.
Yes.
Yeah. So other teams are just steamrolling ahead, and United are like lagging behind, which I think they have done in most transfer windows. Like, they don't start off well. They are not like running a quick out of the box. So I just want to ask Saul, like, I have been seeing more, like, very credible sources that United want to drop the Mason Mount deal and go pursue Caicedo because even Chelsea are not making any headway for
We're going to
Caicedo.
move on to the next topic here then. Yeah, that is definitely the next topic in hand. That I've read, according to the Times, that Man United's top target now is Moises Caicedo of Brighton. And it so happens, like, that they want to piss off Chelsea, like bad that, hey, you guys are, you know, playing dirty with us with the Mason Mount deal. He wants to join us. You're just, not diamond nickeling with us. We're going to go after your number one target, Moises Caicedo. Yeah, go ahead. So
Yeah,
answer.
so yeah, I just like to ask all, like, because we talked, I think I was talking in the previous podcast, one of the previous podcasts, that since you guys are letting go of Fred, you can definitely get an upgrade on Fred, and Caicedo is probably the perfect upgrade on Fred. He's box to box, he's good defensively, he's a he's a decent shooter of the ball, he can dribble, he's more robust than Fred, and of course I think he has more, like, he has more thinking, and like he's aware of the game more than Fred is, I think. And so, what are your thoughts? Like, I've seen them like dropping the Mason. I see them dropping the Mason Mount agenda as well and go for Caicedo, and that would be the smart thing to do, I think.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Anyway, Saul, go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree that that'll be the smart thing to do. But and I also agree that Caicedo is sort of like an upgrade for Fred or even McTominay. It depends on who's playing in that position. But and he has been one of the star players of the last season, right? Everybody loves Caicedo. We had an opportunity to buy him for 5 million, I think, but well, nobody
Before he
listened to
came to
Ragnick.
them, like,
Yeah. So, but anywho, I think the Caicedo story is more of what you said about pissing Chelsea off. I'm not really sure if we are going to put in a bid or even like get into the bidding war, because I think he was priced at 80, which means if United are interested, it'll be 100, something like that, right?
Hmm.
That's the premium you pay for of approaching a player as a Manchester United club, I guess.
Mhm.
So. And we cannot spend 100 million on a player
You
because I
never know
think
that, Saul. You
no,
really
but
don't know that, sir, because
no.
United might not want to pay 55 million or 60 million for Mason Mount. Doesn't mean
but
that,
they could, yeah,
yeah,
they
for
could pay
Moises,
for him.
he's
So
quite.
we have a budget of around 120 to 30 without sales for this season, and that is according to the FFP, which means based on the players that we spent on last year, uh, we are only allowed to spend somewhere around 120 to 130 this year, and we're really bad at selling players. I mean, I'm not sure. There are a lot of players in our squad who needs to be sold. That the deadwood needs to be cleared. Everybody knows that, but I
And
think
I was like, yeah, I was seeing like you guys were trying to offload Fred for like 20 million. You're just asking for 20 million, and I think Fred is worth more than 20 million, and like Fulham are still lowballing you, and they're saying we're not paying 20 million, nowhere near 20 million.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
Fred is worth more than 20 million. He's already like 30 or something, and he's
Okay,
in his
okay,
final year of the contract. And it's Fred.
okay, okay.
Fred, how Fred plays on the field is it's almost like a game of chance. Like you roll a dice, you're gonna get a good Fred or the crap Fred, and you never know, right? I mean, he's a good player. When he's like playing well, he can be a real Brazilian, but otherwise he can be like, I don't know, Dundee United midfielder
Yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever. So, so yeah. So I am not sure about the Caicedo links. I mean, I've seen it. I don't think we'll get into the race. If we get into the race, great. But if we agree to spend 80 to 100, I'm just worried about how we'll buy the goalkeeper. Then we'll have to ask De Gea to stay, give him a new contract more than 200,000. Does that work? I'm not sure. And also we'll have to compromise on the
Striker.
striker, which means we won't be able to spend another like 70 or 80 or 90 on a striker, whether it's Hoyland, whether it's Harry Kane, or whoever we are targeting. And
Mhm.
that is my main point. I mean, that's the biggest like
Gaping hole.
complaint that I have. Why aren't we working on the striker deal? What is the plan there? Are we saving it for something else? Are we waiting for the sale to happen so that we might magically have some cash? Are we waiting to sell some players which we don't know of? That's going to fund that kitty for us to go out there and get a striker. That is the most mind-boggling part. We are so invested in Mason Mount, but there has hardly been any approach from United to buy a striker. I mean, I know we've heard stories like we won't go for Harry Kane. Uh, Rasmus Højlund loves Manchester United, but those are like just interested FC,
Yeah,
and I think that is what has happened with United throughout this transfer window. So I don't know. Let's see. I'm really worried about the goalkeeper signing as well.
Right.
So that's another 50
yeah.
million there.
I'll just take over once and ask I was seeing like Garnacho could be offered the number 7 shirt, and does that
Yeah.
strike you as that United may not go for a world-class striker and just put Rashford at the striking role? They could get a
Um,
striker, but like it might not be a world-class striker.
I mean,
Maybe
it
not Harry
depends.
Kane or
Like, I don't know which number Victor Osimhen wears, but if it's Harry Kane, it's going to be the iconic number 10, right? That's his number. I mean, it's not number 7. Um,
what's Rashford's number? Number 10
11,
or
11.
Rashford's 10?
11. I think it's 11. It's Giggs'
I
number. Yeah.
was
Anyway, yeah, Rashford is 11 right now.
But we'll talk about the front line of United in the next segment here. I wanted to take Aitun Mag's, he's the resident Mr. Daily Mail. So I wanted to ask, first of all, my take on Moises Caicedo is that he is more of a number 6 than a number 8. And that's the role that, currently Casemiro is playing. But I want to ask Aitun Mag, do you think Moises Caicedo is headed towards Manchester? Because there were really strong rumors yesterday, and since like day before yesterday, in the middle of the day, there have been strong rumors about United being, targeting Caicedo as their number 1 target. So I want to ask you. Obviously, you read way more articles, as we know, starting with the Daily Mail. Where do you
and the
see?
Mirror.
And the Mirror, well, that's John Cross. He's a little reliable. It's not the same as Daily Mail. But having said that, where do you see Moises Caicedo heading? Do you see him heading to Chelsea as planned, or do you think Man United could make a late trade, considering they're not going to go after Mason Mount, as the rumors have been saying?
The way Manu formation is, they used love to play with double pivot defensive midfielder, with Casemiro and with beside maybe Eriksen played, sometimes Bruno played. And if we have to compare with Mount and Caicedo, I believe Caicedo would be a better player than Mount in that position where he has to. I mean, defensively, Mount is much. I mean, the Caicedo is much more reliable than Mount. And but my take on this on Mount and Caicedo is see Caicedo succeeded. I mean, he was really good in Brighton last season. We all know that. But succeeding at Brighton and succeeding in Man U, it's something a little different. Whether Caicedo has the ability to perform the same in Man U, I'm a bit skeptical. Yes, whereas Mount, he already played in Chelsea, so he knows how to handle a top 6 team fan and the expectation. So that's something would be a big point for Caicedo playing for Manu. But if my concern is if Caicedo is coming from Brighton to Manu, then I believe Ferguson has no chance coming because Ferguson is no way coming because last season we heard that Ferguson is also coming to Manu.
I think
That's something.
he signed a new
He
contract,
he
right?
signed
Yes,
a new contract
yes,
with a release
yes.
clause or something.
Yes, so that's something I really skeptical about. Caicedo at Manu. Yes, he's a good player, really good player, but succeeding in Manu it will be a difficult for him. But my major concern is when they qualified for Champions League, I expected a much more involvement in transfer window, but Manu is not something doing justifying their previous season result. And if they are not going for a striker and they are putting Rashford in a place for a number 9 with a maybe younger striker, maybe they will go for the Weghorst. I don't know.
Not really. So that is a perfect bridge for our next topic at hand. And this is my take on this
Oh,
here. And I personally, listen, I get hyped up about certain players. And if you probably recall a couple of years back, I was saying that Gabriel Martinelli is a generational talent. And he has proven himself. He's the highest scoring Brazil in the world last season, way above, 5 more goals than anybody else, including Vinicius Jr., Neymar, and all these guys. And I put another player from Manchester United in the same bracket when I saw him first break through, and that was Mason Greenwood. I know what happened, and we are not here to talk about the the controversy that happened with his girlfriend, and maybe they're still dating. They're not. I really don't care. But I think that guy had it all.
They are dating. They are dating, and they are having a baby together. Just so you know.
Well, that's amazing. That's great to know. But I'm just going back to
So messed up.
going back to
So
the
messed up.
pitch. I felt like that guy is immense, and he can play off the wing. He has a tremendous left foot, reminiscent of a certain Robin van Persie, and his finishing is A class. I think he was a better finisher than Marcus Rashford. I would, that's just my take on it, and I think he has the finisher's instinct, and he just had an aura about him where I felt like he was going to be Manchester United's next big thing at the striker's position, and I have a gut feeling that United's going to stick to Mason Greenwood being their future number 9. I want to ask this question to start off with Saul. Would you accept if United did not buy a Harry Kane or and Victor Osimhen, and the preseason is starting off very soon? If you see Mason Greenwood hitting the heights of just before all this, all of this macabre and all of these things happened, what would you say? Would you like to pursue your team and support your team with a United Youth product?
Yeah, 100%, but not this season. I don't think he's ready to play for Manchester United. Because he's not been playing football for 18 months. So I don't care about the afro that he's grown and all the pictures that I've leaked recently. I mean, he looks really good, and he looks like he's back to playing football and all that. But yeah, playing week in and week out in the Premier League is a different ballgame, and that's going to take some time for him to get used to. And also, all the controversies that has been surrounding him, I don't think this is a good time for him to play for a club like Manchester United. I mean, even in our club, there are people who are never going to accept him for whatever happened with his girlfriend, all the leaks and stuff like that. So I know that he's been proven not guilty by the court, but human nature is we all have our perceptions, and during these days the world is super sensitive. And I'm not trying to back Greenwood. What I'm trying to say is that if you do something like that, which is publicly available for everybody to see, I mean, I feel it's a miracle that he can still play football, whether it's with United or anybody.
He is back training. He's included in the squad.
Exactly. Yeah, he's a part of the squad. So, and I feel that 90%. I'm 90% sure that he'll probably go on loan, which is the correct move for him, because we have 2 years of contract left with Greenwood, which means when he's back after the loan, we'll still have 1 year. So Eric Ten Hag can get a sense of how ready he is, and he can also get a sense of how people are going to accept him at Manchester United. And this is not just the fans. What about the players in the locker room, right? What if somebody thinks what he did was incredibly horrible and they don't want to play with a player like that, right? So yeah, we're gonna test the waters, whether it's the skill of, or just pure football skills of Greenwood, how long it'll take him to get back to that, but also get a sense of the the audience, people who are going to watch the football, pundits, his players, Manchester United players. Rival players are always going to take a piss out of it, I know, but what about what if he scores in Old Trafford? Will people cheer? Will there be a awkward pause? So that's something that we need to figure out. So go on loan, play football, come back, and Eric Ten Hag can take a call whether he wants to keep him or sell him. And I think that should be a win-win for both, rather than trying to stick him in the team this year and trying to play him. We should buy a striker. It's going to be embarrassing.
Exactly.
It will be embarrassing if we fail to buy a striker and you see a news, oh, we are turning Rashford into a striker. Greenwood is back. That was Solskjaer 3 years ago, and I will not accept that. So the Greenwood thing will be a bonus if it works out in the future, but we need a striker and we should go for it.
Absolutely. We're going to be moving on. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I do believe moving him to any other club as a loan, it's a win-win-win
Arsenal,
situation for.
Arsenal. I would want him at
But
Arsenal.
you would want him, but there's a lot
No,
of like just not the physical aspect of the game, but the yeah, like Saul was talking, the mental aspect of the game. Like
exactly.
players can be ruined.
He if he plays for any top teams right now, all eyes on be on him, all eyes. And believe me, it will be really hard to match those expectations. Proving it's a different ball game then. And if it's a Man United and he plays, he fails, his career gonna hit rock bottom. So it's better he move on to the maybe a little a mid-table club, maybe somewhere where at least he can
Crystal
play
Palace.
his.
Crystal Palace.
Could be, yes,
Yeah,
could be.
Zaha's
And
left, so that's vacant.
He
And
hasn't left. He's a free transfer, but I mean, it's not.
yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I think he's been linked to the Italian league and the Turkish league from
I see.
whatever news is coming. So
I
it's
see.
even better, like getting away from
Yeah,
England.
that
exactly,
the media,
exactly.
English
Also,
media.
speaking of the Italian league, we're going to be moving on to the next topic of somebody that has moved from the Italian league, one of the giants of Italian football, AC Milan. And we're going to take the spotlight to iTunes Mag. And I think Fabrizio Romano has already tweeted, here we go for this player. And I rate him highly because we were strongly linked to him before he joined AC Milan. He was a young prodigy. Sorry, my lisp, a prodigy. And he was amazing at that age. He was 21 at the time. And right now, he's not as young anymore. He's 23 or something. But where do you see him playing? Because when I saw him play for AC Milan, and um, he's not really an out and out defensive midfielder, if I can say so. He has an amazing eye for a pass, and he can keep the ball moving. He's like more like a Pirlo like player. No, not exactly Pirlo esque, but he's not as defensive as like a beast of a central defensive midfielder. So yeah, Aitun Mag, where do you see him playing? And what do you know about this guy?
See, he's a mix of Pirlo and Gattuso both. Okay. And the beauty of Tonali is he played as a double pivot and defensive midfielder in the 4-2-3-1 formation, as well as a central defensive midfielder in a 4-3-3 formation. That's why Eddie Howe rates him highly, because Howe goes for the player who can play in a versatile position. And even a couple of match he probably played in a side back as well. Probably it's in a Milan match. I heard that. I don't know. I don't follow Syria League. So not much. Just see the results. But he has played in the side back as well in the hour of need. So that's why Eddie Howe loves him. And I was checking his stats. He has a lovely ball control. He has a lovely passing, and it gives the ability to Bruno Guimaraes to move forward. That's what I've been telling day in day out. Put him alongside with a player who can whose major contribution would be a defensive area, and let Bruno Guimaraes go forward, go box
Or
to box, and
Joelinton. Both of them can. If you play a midfield of Joelinton, Bruno
now
Guimaraes,
it will be a difficult, see, because we have Willock, we have Longstaff who had an amazing season last season. He's an amazing season. Joelinton, now Tonali came. I don't think Tonali will be a with his stature of player, he won't be
he'll start.
a
He'll start.
rotation player.
He'll start.
He's gonna start.
Mhm.
So we have to let go of at least first
Gordon.
11.
Gordon, he's going to eat up Gordon's spot.
Gordon
Gordon's
is
a
a winger.
winger.
He's a left wing.
Gordon is a winger.
Yeah, but
He played for against Chelsea because we have a lot of injuries. He played in midfield, but primarily Gordon is a left
Left
wing
wing.
midfielder.
Left winger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, do you
So
see like Tonali being like that enforcer? I've not seen much. I've seen his ball skills and everything. I've not seen how he tackles. Like, would it be a CDM or an enforcer for your team, or do you have someone else in mind to, so like
no,
fix that position?
right now, Tonali will be coming as a central defensive midfielder, a number 6 primarily, and number 8 will go to Bruno Guimaraes,
They
and
don't. They don't
that's
need.
what.
They don't need an enforcer. Sam Kloppite. The reason is they're looking. Eddie Howe's looking to play heavy possession football next season. And I mean, I'm not saying they don't need an enforcer, but they need somebody who can pass the ball better. Hence,
Yeah.
there's very few
You,
choices, and they're Newcastle. They're not like Manchester City or Real Madrid that they're gonna get the pick of the bunch, right? So obviously they have to look at the tier two players. When I say tier two, I don't mean like tier five. That's not bad. Tier two is still pretty good, and hence Tonali is an amazing passer of the ball. So they had to,
yeah, like,
Kais,
do you? I wanted to ask, like, if they want to supplement Tonali with someone, and since they were saying they were gonna go for James Madison, and now I think they are not. So do they go for a CDM to help Tonali? Like, cause Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, and another like a robust CDM would be like a top two, three midfield in the Premier League, I think.
or
So do
top.
you
We
see?
don't. I don't think we are gonna go for another defensive midfielder.
Tonali
We
will
are
play
gonna.
this.
Yeah, he will play. I mean, I just wanted Tonali to go for a full preseason with Eddie Howe, and then we're gonna see how he will be used. I do believe he's gonna play as a 4-3-3 in middle position as a
Exactly.
defensive
They'll,
midfielder.
they'll play they'll play three CMs. They won't have a CDM. They'll play three CMs in Jolinton, Bruno Guimaraes, and Tonali. Where Tonali will be the one that passes, that does those long diagonal
The
Exactly.
balls.
register, the
Yes.
register,
Exactly. And
the
and both
register.
and alternatively, Jolinton or Bruno Guimaraes can hit those bylines and get into the box and stuff like that. And
And I'm just amazed to see. I mean, in few months I mean, previously we were linked with Hamza. Hamza with a loan deal, probably
yes,
2 seasons back. From
yes,
Hamza to Tonali, it's a huge transformation, I would say.
of course. Now, Saul, this guy, in my opinion, would have been the perfect number 8, like the perfect upgrade for Christian Eriksen. What is your take on Sandro Tonali? Do you know much about him? Have you seen him play? And
Yeah, I have an idea about him, but I don't think he's a number 8. I don't think he's. I mean, he's a good passer of the ball, but from what I've seen, he's
a
more
defensive number 8.
defensive. Yeah,
Yes,
and
yes, yes.
yeah,
He's
and
not
I
good
think that
tackler. I feel I have not seen. I won't say like it's not like
exactly.
rubber stamp
Yeah,
my statement.
I was just gonna say that as well. Like in terms of putting in a tackle or intercept. I mean, in interceptions and things like that, I'm not really sure how good he is. I will be honest. I've not seen a lot of him. I've seen some of the games, like because they were in the Champions League. But except for that, I think from what I've heard is he's an Italian player, right? And when was the last time we saw Italian player leaving the Italian league and coming to the Premier League? So I think from that point of view, uh,
Jorginho was the last
kudos.
one.
Yeah, so kudos to Newcastle for making it happen. I mean, I know it's 70 to 75 million or something like that, so it's not like a cheap deal. But he's 24 and he's very promising. I think uh, he has the potential to become a really, really good midfielder. And if he has, the next 5, 6 years, and he's also on a long-term contract, right? From what I heard, I
Yes,
think
yes.
5 to 6 years, which
2028.
means he is
2028, 29.
sold
Yeah.
with the project. He believes in it, and whether it's Eddie Howe or whoever in the future, he's going to be the main, like the captain material, right? After Trippier hangs his boots or something like that. So, so that is what I'm excited about. I'm not excited about what he does next season. I'm excited about this player's longevity. He's supposed to be a faithful player because he's from the Italian league. People rarely leave it. Secondly, from what I heard, AC Milan were the people who tried to sell him off because of the money and everything. They need the money, right? And there was also this story that I saw like I think yesterday, that he started crying or weeping
Crying
when
or
he got,
yeah. I mean, I don't know.
when
It could be a media hype.
it could be
I'm not sure
fluff,
about it.
but we know that Italian players generally don't go, right. So I'm excited to see what he can do. But yeah, let's see if Newcastle actually has 75 million or that's a hoax. We'll get to see if they target any more players, right? So that's gonna be fun to see.
We'll see. We'll
So,
see.
so I was like looking at Tonali's stats. He's mainly played CDM for AC Milan this season. Has he? I'm just asking. CDM, okay.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
his interceptions are like 21% percentile of compared to other players in Europe, which is really poor, I think. And but his assists and X assists or whatever that stat is,
XA,
that's
XA.
quite
Expected
high.
assist.
Expected assists, and That's really high, like 92, 94. So he probably is a player who will pass from deep. He's like a deep lying playmaker.
I told you he's more of a Pirlo than a Gattuso. Trust me,
So
I used to follow him back in the day when Arsenal were linked with him, so I know his style of play.
and his pass completion is 75% per 90 minutes, which is like 13 percentile of among the players in Europe, which is like really poor. So I'm thinking he's more of a long ball player than a
Yes,
short passing player.
yes, yes.
So, but Newcastle will need that CDM, that robust player in midfield against a big team like maybe Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. So I don't know. Like Premier League is a very physical game, and you need a CDM. You need an enforcer
I
in
think,
field.
yeah, I think
I don't know if
he'll
that
have to.
Italian
Yeah,
league
I
stuff can
completely
work.
agree with you. I think he needs to adapt, and that's part of the job that Eddie Howe has in his
Yeah.
hands. I think it's not just about just signing him for what he is. It's also like molding him into a Premier League player. He's from an Italian league. Exactly what you said. It's a very slow league. Like the pace of the game is pretty slow, which means you have to depend a lot. We've all seen the Europa League final, right? So he
Yep.
was something that would never end. It was like the Lord of the Rings movie or something like that, right? So he
Yeah,
needs
I'm
to
a
be
big fan.
molded.
I'm a big fan.
Me too. I don't know why I stated that. Sorry, internet fans. Lord of the Rings. But anyways, but yeah, so he needs to be molded correctly for Newcastle, and that is the most exciting thing that I want to witness over the years, like 2 years, 3 years, how he turns into a player. Maybe he's going to be more attacking. Maybe he's going to be more defensive. Maybe he's going to build a fantastic partnership with some other players, right? So yeah, let's see.
It's an exciting
So,
project
so,
to keep an eye out on. Yes,
so
go
yeah. So I think, Mike, do you think you would prefer a CDM alongside Tonali
I
if you
don't
have
know
two
the
We'll
midfield?
see that. We'll see that.
Like, do you
After the
prefer? Do you prefer?
preseason,
Do you prefer?
I
of
would
course.
not right away. I would not right away. I have a theory like Joelinton probably move on the left wing instead of playing in the midfield, who can comes as a supporting midfield sometimes. So it could be, our own Longstaff would be a defensive midfielder along with Bruno Guimaraes and Tonali. That could be another option because Longstaff has a really good interception and tackling this season. Could be one option, or could be in the preseason. We, like Saul said, it could be a new Tonali who's ready for a defensive midfielder, a number six, maybe. That time will tell. But we are excited with the player because he's
Of
a
course, of
huge
course.
prospect, and I believe he will do excellent with this team.
He certainly is.
Thank you for watching that video. We are a community of passionate football fans, and we post weekly videos on transfer news, match reactions, tactical analysis, and sometimes just gossip on the most exciting sport in the world. If that's what you like to hear, then hit that subscribe button and join the conversation with us.